Welcome to the Built Different podcast. We're in our interview series. We're interviewing people who have been here at the beginning of the culture and are still now in the culture. Before we get started, I introduce our guest. Let me give you a call to action. Go ahead if you want to learn more about being built different mentally, spiritually, physically, not just as a coach, but as a human and as a father and as a leader, as a husband. If you want to learn that, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, and do me a favor, and whoever you send it to a favor, share this to one person. All right, let's get rolling. We are here today with Josh Raybuck. The name alone is heard from the mountaintops. Josh Raybuck is here. Josh Raybuck is currently on my coaching staff, but I don't want to take all his glory. Tell me, Josh, about yourself and your sports background.
I kind of moved around a bit as a kid, but landed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in middle school. Started playing football then, had only played soccer and basketball growing up, but pretty quickly figured out football's my sport. And so I went to Flower Mound Marcus High School, played on the freshman team there. Our team went to the playoffs and they called 3 of us up to varsity during that time. And so I was fortunate to be one of those 3. Back then I was playing linebacker, D-line, offensive guard, but they pretty quickly moved me to center. And I was, undersized, playing 5A Texas high school football, and this is in the late 90s. And so my sophomore year, I was second string behind a senior, and then my junior year, I was the starting center. And that year we went to state and won state, beat A-Leaf Hastings 59-20. And so that was a pretty magnificent moment. It's really hard to do. So I'm grateful for that and those memories. And then we went 5-5 my senior year, but who cares?
Still riding the high of a state championship.
Absolutely. So I did have some opportunity to play in college, but I decided to hang the cleats up and follow my sister to University of Texas at Austin, and went there and then just did intramural weightlifting as my sport, and won some awards in that in my weight class. But I got married young, became a young dad, had a family like right away, and so always was interested in coaching my sons growing up. So
how did we meet?
We met on Zoom during COVID when you became the head coach at Coram Deo. My middle son John was an 8th grader heading into his freshman year, and you took over as head coach, and you told us all about yourself, but then you also made sure to call every single player and their family individually. And so we met first that way, and I just remember being really impressed. Obviously your resume was great, but you were very straightforward, and I knew right away, I can honestly remember back, it's so funny how vivid that memory is, about how just we were on the same page on a lot of things, like off the bat. I remember just watching some of the private school football and being a bit frustrated by some of the lack of aggression. And so, I was like, my son, I teach him, come hard, he's hitting, so we were speaking the same language, I think, really early on. And so I think from the jump, I was rocking with you.
Love it. So before I jump into the other one, letting y'all know, how did Josh Raybuck end up on my coaching staff? Well, he first started on the broadcast team. So at Coram Deo, we had a really good live stream broadcast, and he started on there. And I would let the two dads know that I want to watch the live stream right after the game. So I need it to be unlocked so I can hop on there, usually fall asleep watching it. But I actually watched it to hear feedback. And I didn't want them to hold anything back because that doesn't make anyone grow. And here at Mercy Culture, feedback's huge. So this was even before I knew it was huge. I just wanted to know. And so Josh on the broadcast, I mean, I could tell he really knew football. And like, in football was big for me. But really got me was the one time you asked if you could submit a game report. And you said, don't take offense to it. I'm a geek about this. I love it. This is my observations. I've done my part. It was fun doing all this. And I mean, breaking it down to the nth degree. And I think I remember telling you, it almost, obviously there was some different eyes in there, but it was almost like my positives, my negatives, but it was a different lens. It was a lens not from a coach, and even though you were a dad of a player, it was a lens not from the dad of the player. It was a true lens. And I said, man, I want to get this dude on my coaching staff, but I got to wait for the right time. And so fast forward, John Raybuck plays for me at Coram Deo, plays for me here. O-line spot, D-line spot opens up, and I bring you on board. And you have stayed that way. So I'm a big hater of daddy ball.
Yes.
But I have a ton of dad coaches on my team because I know what they look like. I coached all three of my sons in high school, coached one of them in college, and I never was that dude. I just wasn't that dude. I think a lot of it is, and I hope some of you coaches watching this don't do this, a lot of dads live their lives through their sons. Well, in my realm, I had done everything I could do. I've been paid to play. I've coached in college. I've met famous people. I've done great things. I've done all the things. And I really didn't care what my kids played or did, but it was cool. So when we fast forward to being here at Mercy Culture and that opportunity came and you jumped on it, it was cool. But I also knew now John had moved on to Division I college, but I knew that you had Braden, but I knew you weren't going to daddy ball Braden. And he even ends up in your room. I mean, he ends up a D lineman. And what a better place to daddy ball. And you don't do it. So I wanted to commend you for that. And I do want to encourage coaches that when dads do come to you, if you can identify what it is, what daddy ball is, and you know how to differentiate the two, you can get some really good coaches on your team. But if you don't know and you're not a bold leader and you let a daddy ball guy, I've never had a daddy ball guy, even when I wasn't a head coach. But I know what they look like, so I've been blessed. So I just wanted to honor you with that. All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
This has been way more surprising to me than I thought it was going to be. What was your first impression of the phrase built different?
My first impression was, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd probably heard it in some iteration before, in life. Nothing that stuck with me, but the first time I heard it and kind of was like, okay, I see where he's going with this. I understand what you meant by it. So yeah, I just was like, yeah, that tracks. And that was the culture that you were bringing to at the time the Coram Deo program, where you did have kids that were different from any other private school, and certainly public school, but you were bringing your flavor to the athletic programs. And it really helped them, I believe, level up to a degree of just as a school taking sports, very seriously. Because in the past, and it's an awesome school and I have nothing bad to say about it, but it's a high academic school. And so the kids there, they have to be extremely intelligent to go there. So you elevated athletics, above where it had been, I think, where it needed to be taken seriously. And it's like, yeah, these kids they're built different in the classroom. They're built different spiritually. They're built different in life. Their parents are trying to raise them to be different than the world. But it's my job and my staff's job to build them into different type of athletes. And I think that, you were on that track for sure. So it was exciting for me.
That's good. So when we think about, you've got 3 sons. You've got Ryan Raybuck, who's helped us out, who played Division II and Division I football. You had John Raybuck, who played for me the majority of his high school career at the 2 different schools. And he went to Division II and then went to Division I football, both of them scholarshiped. And then you have Braden, the MVP of the district of all of Division IV, and it's the district that houses the state champion. What was it like, and what is it like watching your sons and then coaching a son? What's it like?
I mean, the first thing that I would say is being a dad is the best job in the world. I'm just so honored that the Lord allows me to steward, my 3. It's the greatest feeling in the world. It's the best thing I could ever do. So I'll just say that up front. I think also, like you, I had accomplished, what I wanted to in life. And so I didn't have to put the pressure on them to live vicariously through my sons. And so we always just celebrated them. Hey, we love you because you're ours. God gave you to us. You're a gift. Whatever you do, whatever you turn out to be, we love you because you're ours, and not because of any performance, that you do. So that really frees you up to just love them as they are, as you call them higher in life. And so I think it just allowed me great joy, to be able to watch them play and just enjoy them and not see it through my eyes, but to just see it through like, hey, I'm a fan. I love watching them. They were blessed to all be really good athletes. And so that is exciting in and of itself. But, I think I coached them from, little, flag football, soccer, all of that, to middle school, to high school 7-on-7, like all of that. And I had to critique them, and it's one of those things where, yes, I'm going to speak life and encourage the positives, but I have to critique them as well. And so, but there's a balance there, I think. And I think some of the trap that fathers can fall into is they lean too heavy in one of those directions. Either they're too critical and their sons don't hear the positives, or they're too positive and it inflates their ego, and they don't walk in humility, and they don't get better because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. So we would break down every film of every game, starting with Ryan, play by play. Hey, this was great. This is what you need to work on. And so I've done that with all of them. So it's a joy and it's a pleasure. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
What I love about that, and I just feel like I just got this information downloaded to me, is God gives me dads like I was in coaching. I always looked at it as I had the best seat in the house as a coach. So I coached my oldest son, Corey, and our oldest son's stories are very similar. I coached him. He went off to college, then went to the Marines. And I actually coached him in almost every position, and I coached him in soccer. I was his head coach in soccer. And then I coached my second son, Dylan, and I coach him. Now, he's the superstar. I mean, he's lighting it up. Everybody knows who he is. He's got every record in the school. He still has the records at Trinity Cedar Hill, and there's like 5 guys from the NFL after him.
Yep.
And he's still got the records, and I loved it. I didn't coach his position. I had him on special teams. Obviously, all my boys know special teams. But I remember, like, what a dream.
Yeah.
You know, like Corey, my oldest son, he was more of a specialist. So he's a backup quarterback, holder, snapper, played some different positions. But he would stand by my side every game.
Wow.
And I remember when he graduated, I was like, man, I'm going to miss that.
Yeah.
You know, and he'd go on the field. But, man, when he wasn't on the field, he wasn't talking with his buddies. And we didn't have a close relationship. He would just stand by my side.
Yeah.
Didn't talk much, didn't do anything. And I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And then with Dylan, I'm like, I never was, that's my son. But I was like, I got a good view. I mean, we won state championship together. We lost the state championship together. Then we go coaching. I coach him in college. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's
And then
crazy.
I think about 2.0, my youngest coming here. But then when you're talking, I'm like, that's how Coach Norwood is. Coach Norwood coaches his son, and whether or not he knew if he was going to be daddy ball or not, because he's accomplished, he fell right in with us.
Right.
And we're like, so think 1 year I hired 2 dad coaches.
Yeah.
2 alpha male dad coaches.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of you coaches out there, I'm sorry, but I'm being authentic. You're weak-minded, so you won't hire strong men. You won't hire alpha males because you want to be the only alpha male, and that's probably why you're not successful. And that's not being mean, because I've been there. I want to hire people better than me at everything I do, because it's going to make me better at everything I do. And so having in 1 year 2 alpha males. Now, if everyone knows my history, I can handle the most extravagant alpha males on a coaching staff. I've had them all.
Yep.
Famous ones, Hall of Famers, everybody knows. That's never been an issue. But the way God designed you specifically coming into the program for when you did, it was comfort for me. What the audience doesn't know is you were essentially my best friend when I got fired from Coram Deo. You were the one that I could turn to. You were the one, not because we lived down the street from each other,
Right.
but you were the one that I could say, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. You were the one that heard me lay it all down at the altar.
Yeah.
You're the one that heard, we don't talk about the Psalm 23 life yet, but I would just tell you, and then you would hear my struggles of, I don't want to go coach college. And yes, I can go coach college anytime I want.
Right.
And that's not a flex, it's just a fact. And I didn't want to sacrifice 2.0. I didn't want to do it. And so I just closed all the doors. And then I remember telling you, I prayed, I said, Lord, will you please only open one door? Because and this was high school. The college doors didn't matter. And they were all there, but they didn't matter. I wasn't going to do that. But will you only open one door? And then he opened this one.
Yeah.
And this one, who would have thought we'd get John Raybuck completely transform his life?
Amen. Yeah.
And I mean, he is so much different than he was in between Coram Deo and here. And then we get Braden. Both of our youngest sons are the closest young men of purified and righteous that you can actually see around. They're not perfect,
Right.
but those are the fruits of our labor.
Yeah.
But they're also the fruits of our sacrifice and all the things we've done. So I love having alpha males around me. And those of you that watch this that don't, that's where you're really screwing up, because these alpha males aren't afraid to lean in and give me feedback, but they're so empowered. They run their show. So I wanted to honor you for that. And, not a lot of people know what Coach Sean Riley went through for 90 days.
Yeah.
You do.
I do. It was, I mean, it was an honor to walk with you through that. But I think that God just knit us together in those 2 years at Coram Deo, and I could see your heart, and I knew I could trust my son with you, and that's as a dad, and a dad that's critical of what's going on, but knowing in life my son will be better under this man, that meant everything to me. And so when the bomb went off, I was obviously I was angry, but I think for the most part I was just disappointed, because I wanted that. But the way you handled it and the way you just leaned into the Lord, and watching how that process worked was really cool for me. And I think it also just brought us even closer together. But yeah, I mean, my goal the whole time was, we're following that man, because there was something there that I mean, again, I think we can recognize it, and I think men can recognize another man that they would follow, and having my son under you as a head coach, but also just speaking into him, as far as life goes, I was like, we got to get it back. And so we followed TAP's rules, and we were very diligent about that, but we had to take some time, but then we drive 45-50 minutes every day to come be with you, and that's and that means it's worth it. It's worth it. So yeah.
Well, it is definitely, as you know, it's an honor, and it's just an honor having you alongside, but more importantly, it's an honor that we get to run together.
Yeah.
And we will both have accomplished the goals that we both wanted to do, and that's send all our boys into the world spiritually stronger.
That's right.
Than whenever they were in school.
Yes.
And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you realize, especially with this culture, when did you realize that coaching was bigger than the scoreboard?
I mean, I think having walked with the Lord for a while now, I think intuitively I knew that. But I'm also incredibly competitive, just as you are. And I think all the coaches are. I hate to lose, and I've heard it said, I don't know if I love this statement, but I think I hate losing more than I love winning. I just don't want to lose. And so it matters to me to win on the scoreboard a lot. But ultimately, if you're sacrificing the kids and the culture and the school, and you're losing them to win on the scoreboard, it's not worth it. And so I think from day one of joining the staff, that was preached and lived out. And so I think it just called it out of me. And that's something that the Lord puts inside of us. But to give it a name, I think it was right away. It was right away. And I wholeheartedly agreed with it. And again, I say that as somebody who I want to win. Yeah. I want to win every play. I want to win every down. I want to win every series. I want to win every game. I want to win state every year. But ultimately, sending these young men out equipped to be believers in this world, to be great men of faith, husbands, fathers, that's the stuff that lasts. That's the stuff that's eternal. This stuff here will perish.
That's so true. All right, I think the best way to phrase this is you've heard all of, I hate to call them catchphrases because they're culture phrases. You've heard them all. What phrase that I say actually hits the most with you, like actually moves you? Because they're not my phrases. I just say them.
Yeah.
It's part of culture. Which one really gets you?
Yeah, I mean, I like them all, obviously. But I would say every move is calculated.
Yeah.
I could see, again, pretty early on that you were a chess player. And just every little thing, if I would think, why is he doing that? Or why is he saying it? Or why does he say it that way? If I could just go back to every move is calculated, then it made sense to me. And so that one really sticks with me because it does. And it really is cool to see that and to live that out. But yeah, I love that one.
Well, and a lot of people don't pick that because they don't understand, and a lot of y'all watching don't understand to build a program, not on superficial things. So to build a program to push young men, and if you're building another program, women, to push these athletes to a different level, you have to do things that are calculated.
Yeah.
Why did I coach our junior high football team everywhere I've been? Why have I coached them forever? Because I'm bored? No. Why did I coach them? Because every move is calculated. Because now look at our team. We have guys that we coached in 6th grade. And this isn't a flex, but the head football coach, athletic directors coaching 6th graders in football. And why? Why did I do that? Because I knew I was going to ask my coaches to do it. And I wasn't going to ask my coaches to do something that I wouldn't do. Right. But then think of the tangible thing. We just get through spring football. 99% of the team is been here at least 2 years, but 99% of the team's been here 4 years.
Right.
Most of them are in their 5th year. We got less than a handful of people that are brand new or just came out to the team, coming from the middle school, but they all know everything.
Right.
And so when you think about every move is calculated, that really wasn't a phrase I said. Some people thought it was a phrase just to hey, I'm doing it because I want to. No.
Yeah.
The growth that we have, why are teams that play us so afraid of us? And they're not afraid of us sometimes in that moment. They're afraid of what they see building. They're afraid because they some of them chose, some of them have built, some of them are 16, 17 years ahead of us.
Right.
And we're right on their tail in 4 years.
Right.
We're like the Nehemiahs. They may have been like the Moseses, but either way, we're going to get our people to where they need to get. We're going to build the wall, rebuild the wall, or get them to the promised land.
Right.
But I think that's my favorite phrase, by the way. Every move is calculated because it truly is. Everything is thought out, but it's not me.
Yeah.
It's me depending on the Holy Spirit to give me wisdom.
Right.
And when he gave me a blueprint 15 years ago how to build a program, I wasn't a head coach. I was just a position coach on a stipend. Actually, no, I wasn't on a stipend. I never got a football stipend. I was just a coach that had a good business and would come in, and I just watched. And I'm like, why do we keep losing these kids? Why don't we build them from scratch? And so that's why I love that you say every move is calculated. All right. That is. I knew you were going to say that because even in our interviews for the podcast and for the pre-shows, it was always, I know every move is calculated, but why are we in air raid when we have John Raybuck? Well, I don't know. He has 2,000 yards, so something's working. Every move is calculated.
Right.
All right, and then kind of the last couple of questions. What separates a transformational coach from a transactional coach? Before you answer, a lot of coaches watching this don't know. They've heard this in clinics, but they don't actually know the true difference of a transformational coach and a transactional coach.
Yeah. I would say the difference is a transactional coach is only interested in what the player can do for him at that moment or for the team. They don't want to invest in the depth chart. And they don't really care about the player, I think, off the field. One of the things that you quickly learn as a coach or as a teacher is the background of some of the players. And some of them have had some extremely hard lives. And if you treat them like a commodity or just like everybody else in the world has treated them, then you're really no different. And I don't think that's what Christ calls us to. So being a transformational coach, on the other hand, is, I think, somebody that is deeply invested in the players, and not just the starters. You want to develop the guys behind them, the ones behind them, if you're lucky enough to have, three deep, because eventually those are going to be your starters, or they're going to be called up in a time of crisis, and they're going to need to be ready and know what to do. And so you cannot, just like the junior high thing, you cannot just invest in the here and now. You have to invest in the future. And so that's one thing. And then, again, just teaching them about life off the field, because again, that's the stuff that truly is going to follow them. And so I think if you are really interested in who they are, you're going to be able to connect with them deeper. And I mean, something that I learned pretty quickly is you can't coach every kid the same. Some of them respond to me screaming at them and telling them to get a backbone, and just really getting upset with them. And then some of them, they fold under that. They don't respond. They respond to speaking quietly to them, only positive feedback, and encouragement and that sort of thing. And I mean, that's not my probably go-to, but you can just see it. You can see it on their faces. Are they receiving it or not? And I think if you're a transactional coach, you're just going to stick with what you know, and it's a broad brush for everybody, and you lose players that way.
Yeah,
you may not lose them physically, but you lose them emotionally.
Yeah. I like to think of, in our league, which is TAPS, there's a lot of teams that live or die by their transfers.
Yeah.
And they never have a true chance to develop a true relationship with them. And we know that because we get transfers. Every school gets transfers. And when they come and go, it's like, but man, when you can take the bottom of your roster, and I wrote about this in the book, when you can take the bottom of the roster and you care about him the same.
Right.
And here we really do.
Yeah.
And it's not always, a lot of it's football, like, hey, we're going to need you one day. But a lot of it is, this is who we are.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you're going to become.
Right.
I don't even know where you're going to go. But you're a child of the Most High King, and my job is to steward you, and you're on my team, therefore I'll steward you. And you do that really well. So you brought up something. I'm going to end with this before we get to the final segment part. You talked about the relationships that you build with these guys. And so you coach O-line and D-line. Tell me your view. You know the inside, you know the outside, and you saw it on the documentary last year. Tell me your view of the halftime in heaven that I talk about in the book.
I mean, that one's personal, like that one hits hard because I know the story. One of the kids that I was kind of referring to when I said before, some of these kids have tough backgrounds. They've had a lot of hard things in their life. This happens to be one of those kids, and so knowing that, I always kind of had a tender spot for him, but also knew, he's chasing the world. He'll say some of the right things. He wants to fit in, but his heart isn't transformed. But he was so lovable, He's just a kind of happy despite his circumstances, and gosh, that's attractive. Yeah, I mean, he was having a terrible game. I mean, so bad that we were going to pull him and replace him. And it's a senior, and I think you've said probably on the documentary, but obviously in private talks, like, everyone has given up on him in life, and we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with him. And when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's the right call. And then yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the room. I was chewing out the rest of the of the line. But when you came out and you announced what had happened, I was just filled with joy. I was like, I have a new brother, like an actual brother in Christ, not just somebody I call brother, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, it definitely brought tears to my eyes, and I went and gave him a big hug, and yeah, it was great. And I think you even said in the documentary, like the rest of the game, I don't think he had a great rest of the game. The second half wasn't too much better than the first, but it didn't matter, you know. Heaven had a new member, and he was just filled with the Spirit and just so full of joy, and we could see that in a difference in him. And so that was powerful. I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, I hope we get to do more stuff like that, but it definitely was an interesting timing, and the Lord moves in funny ways sometimes. And so, yeah, that was a very unique experience, but getting to be a part of it in the immediate aftermath was it was a privilege.
Yeah, definitely, and it was definitely supernatural.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is the fun part. So these are quick answers. This is rapid fire. This rapid fire I am taking from the Cypher podcast. So shout out to the Cypher podcast by my buddy Coach Kevin Pointer. Produced by Popular Nobody with J-Mo. Thank y'all for letting me steal this. I still haven't told you I took it. So, all right, here we go. Finish the sentence. Being built different means.
It means you will do anything for the good of others.
Excellent. What's one Bible verse that anchors your life?
Just one.
Well, yeah, you only get to pick the one. Doesn't even have to be the best one, just the first one you think of.
Okay. I'm going to go with Revelation 5:5.
Okay.
The Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. What advice would you give a young player right now?
I would tell the young player that it's easy to want things. It's hard to work for them. And that everybody has to work for them if they're going to be great. So all the little things that nobody wants to do, being in the weight room when it's not required, going out and running the bleachers when it's 110 degrees out, making sure that your nutrition plan is correct and you're tracking what you're eating and you're not filling your body with garbage, studying the game, being a student of the game. So you're training your mind, you're training your body, and then just being in the Word, just training in the Spirit as well. Getting with older men or older women that can pour into you, that can call you higher, but then also having a peer group that you can be vulnerable with, who are going through similar things as you, where you can encourage each other and also hold each other accountable. I think all those things are incredibly important, and if you want to be great, you can't just take one or two of them. I think you gotta go all of them.
That's good. And last one, what's one thing you want the listeners to remember from this episode? One takeaway.
Oh gosh. One takeaway would be that you can follow the Lord, you can do things the right way, you can obey the rules, and you can look yourself in the mirror and not be ashamed of breaking those rules, and still be successful with your players in the future and with your players in the here and now on the field. And I think that's what you're trying to build. That's what's instilled in all of us coaches. That's what's instilled in the players. And I think that's what you are portraying to the world. And I just want them to know, like, believe it, because it's true, and it can happen, and we are seeing the fruit of it. And it is it's incredible to know your hands are clean. Yeah, we're not perfect. Yes, we make a lot of mistakes, but we're trying to do the right thing by the kids, by the school, by the parents, by the Lord, ultimately. And we hold each other to that. And when we're out of step with it, we call each other out. But yeah, do it the right way.
Excellent. All right, well, that closes us out. Let me end with the call to action I started with. If you want to learn more about being built different spiritually, mentally, and physically, and you want to hear more from other people, this interview series is going to be pretty popular. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the bell, and share it with one person. This is the Built Different podcast interview series. Thank you, Josh Raybuck.
Thank you.
We are out. We'll see you on the other side.